Uh, I told them in the locker room, very proud of them, the season we had. It's tough to get this far when it's a whole new team, with the portal and everything now. We were lucky enough to get Shemaya. Really, everyone on our team's from the portal except two. So, real proud of them. Proud of their resilience this year. We had a lot of ups and downs, people in and out of the lineup. So, proud that we could make this run. I told them, everyone feels like this in the country, but one person. It's just a matter of time when. So, we beat a lot of good teams to get to this point. Had a really tough route. You get the MEC champ, you get the PSAC West champ, and then you get the reigning regional champ. So, but I think that's the mentality of our team is, we want to compete, we want to play the best. And I feel like we've done that all year. Came up short, but, I was telling like that's life. Sometimes you do everything you can do in your power, and you still don't get the result you want. And that's life, and you just got to take it on the chin, learn from it, and that's part of being an adult. You don't get what you want, but that doesn't mean that the journey wasn't worth it. I think everyone on this team, including myself, grew as a person, as a player, and myself as a coach. We kind of learned off each other, and I'm happy that they all trusted in me enough to give me the opportunity to coach them.
Maya, one of the things that I've heard from opposing coaches the last 2 nights from Fairmont State and Edinboro was that in the second half, you guys sort of made them panic, I guess is the best word, when they fell behind by a little bit. Do you feel like you guys did that tonight?
Yes. Every time we play a team, they panic. So, I mean, who's not scared to play against IUP? Like, let's be clear.
Right, they made it difficult for you tonight. What would they do in defense?
I don't think they made it difficult. I think I made it difficult on myself. Um, every day your shot's not gonna fall. It's not something that they did differently on me. Um, so I don't think they, yeah.
And I think Shemai did a good job. She led us in assists. Had 3 steals, and she drew 6 fouls. Could probably double that. It's being generous, but I told them you can't control the refs. It is what it is. They're going to call what they call. But 4 assists, 3 steals, 5 rebounds. She could have scored 0 had an impact on the game. And I think kind of her when she came to us, I talked to her a lot about kind of letting the game come to her as the game comes. Don't just try to put a circle in a square hole. Take what they give you, and I think she did a lot of that. Made a lot of good reads, and like you said, sometimes stuff usually doesn't. We fumbled a couple layups in that first quarter. I mean, we played pretty much even except that first quarter, and we just some wrongs that we righted to get to this point kind of showed its head there. Missed layups, missed foul shots there in that first quarter. Dug ourselves another hole and then battled back. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of our PSAC Edinboro game where we just kept fighting back, and we just couldn't quite. Once we get on that doorstep and they started to panic, we'd miss an easy shot and they'd get a foul and get to the foul line, make both foul shots, give them a little breathing room. But we were right there. All you can do in basketball is try to give yourself a shot and then let the ball fall as it does. And, we did that and just couldn't get one of those, final blows to really hit them. And they were able to, hit their foul shots and get the win.
Coach, in the fourth quarter, looked like an obvious foul under your bucket. You don't get the call, they go the other way.
I'd say that's a pretty accurate description of it without getting, in trouble, the school, without getting taught in trouble. Look like it. I mean, to me, everyone's got to be across half to get eyes on a play if we're going to make a call or not make a call. And for whatever reason, we didn't get it. Looked like it to me.
Felt like it to me.
Yeah, I know. And like you were saying, we put a lot of pressure on in the second half. that was it. That's kind of I think we hit a bucket or 2 buckets in a row, had 2 straight stops. That was the third. They would have took a timeout immediately after that. We cut it to, what was it, single digit 5, 6 at that point. It's a whole different game because then they went down, hit a 3, and it just swung throughout. I mean, I was trying to, in the nicest way, like that kind of stuff swings. Momentum's a real thing in sports. Like that swung the entire game, and we just could never. From that point, we could never really get back to what we were doing because that gives you a little. They take a timeout. There's another rest on our legs. Get a little adrenaline. Their adrenaline's going to wear off a little bit in that because they're starting to feel the heat a little bit, but didn't get it. And they still got to go down and hit the shot, and they did. So credit to them. They're a good team, fundamentally sound. We made some mistakes on our switching, and they made us pay for it, and that's what good teams do. And they're very well coached, and you got to take them out of what they do to beat them, and we just didn't do that quite enough.
Touched on the fact, Coach, that you have pretty much an all-new team. So naturally, it took some time for the team to gel. When do you feel like this season you really kind of gelled, like started to gel? Felt like Nyshay hit her stride in January. That's when she started getting all the doubles. When did you feel like this team finally started to gel and could make this run?
I'll be honest with you. After the first quarter at Ashland, which was a long time ago, what were we down in that first quarter? We were down big in the first quarter.
14,
Yeah,
15.
because they're a really good team, nationally ranked, and like Shemai will probably tell you, there's a lot of kids who have never been on like a winning team, winning program. Like they didn't really know what it took to beat those kind of teams. Where they were at, you just kind of go in there and let's give it our best shot. After that first quarter, we started taking it to them. We were turning them over. We were scoring on them, and I kind of saw their confidence, kind of like their ears kind of perked up. Like we got in that locker room, not one person was upset. Everyone was like, "Yo, we're good. If we see them again, we're like." That's where it's more energy to me than even gameplay. Like right now, I'm upset that we lost, but they gave me all they had. They played super hard. Like I'm not upset with them at all. They played as hard as they could, did everything I asked, just didn't work out. But in that Ashland game, I saw they had a lot of fight in them. And even though we lost that game, like I can work with that fight. Once you have fight like that, then it's just X's and O's, trying to teach them, the scheme and all that. So I think, Shemai could probably tell you when she felt it, but I'm all about fight. And when you get into, late into the tournament like this, that's all that separates these teams because everyone's got a lot of talent. Sometimes it's just who wants it a little bit more. And then sometimes both want it, and it's just, whoever gets momentum at the end. And, I think that was the case tonight. What do you think?
You covered everything.
Shemai, over the second half of the season, your scoring average steadily. How would you sum up your first year? Let it be over again 4 years ago. That kind of changed your mind?
We actually talk about that all the time.
Well, coming in IUP, I was really happy that Coach Craig gave me the opportunity to showcase my talent and not only help the team, but be one of the leaders on the team. So I felt like, as you said, my scoring was kind of iffy in the first half, well, like first couple of games, not first half. But I just had to, get a feel for the team because, like Coach Craig said, all the people who he had recruited in the transfer portal, we were all like the top people on our team. So we didn't really understand what it felt like to play against people who were, all Americans and great players. So having that opportunity and then just finding my role, figuring out what he expects from me, and just getting individual time in with him, I feel like that helped me a lot. And if I had the chance to do it again, trust me, I would be right back here at IUP.
Oh, Coach, hit the portal heavy, losing a lot of players. What are you going to do?
I think a lot of the same. We've had a lot of success, like her, Ramina, Ellie, a lot of kids who, especially for someone like her and Ramina, they've been the top dog on their team and they haven't really won. So, our style of play is so free. A lot of kids who wish to play after this overseas, we play a very, Euro style basketball, a lot of handoffs, a lot of ball screens. Freedom of movement is I believe in that. So you know, we're very attractive to players who wish to go take that next step, but also win at the same time. Because like I tell kids all the time in the portal, like stats are great, but those coaches want to know, do you win? Does what you do translate to winning? And you know, a lot of those lower D1, mid D1 kids, like they can't really showcase that. Like kids could come here and get 15, 16 points and get 25, 26 wins. Well, that's going to pop on tape to, you know, scouts and all that. So, you know, in my time being an assistant, like I have a lot of contacts overseas and all that. So that's a big draw. Our facilities obviously recruit themselves. So, you know, it's hard to replace, you know, players that are leaving, but you know, we found her, and you know, there's always people in the portal who's got to find them, and you know, I think people who work hard, you know, are going to get rewarded, and that's no different in coaching. Like if you put in the work to go try to find kids and sell yourself, sell your program, and really give them the vision of what you see, because it's not like recruiting her. I'm just like, oh, come, you'll get 100 shots. I don't think I ever talked about anything like that. It's like, come here, this is how we're going to use you. This is how I'm going to develop you. Like this is what you did last year. Like you need to be able to read ball screens. You need to be able to read coverages. Like hit the skip when they're at the nail, they're pinching, kick it early, all that stuff. And that's why I think you saw her as the year went on. She's got more comfortable. Because you know, a credit to her, she listens. And you know, like today, I'm sure some of you who have kids know that's hard to come by sometimes. You know, no ego at all. And you know, that's why she got rewarded first team all PSAC, because you know, she just kept getting better, and it didn't really matter what, you know, the defenses did. You know, she was going to find a way, and you know, she did that for the most part. And so really proud of her. Grace, same thing. Grace came from Mercyhurst, and you know, she wanted to be part of a winning program, and you know, played her tail off. Gonna go be crazy smart. Gonna go do a really good job with the rest of her life. So she's already got some things planned. So really proud of her. Macy, I know Macy was ecstatic. She transferred from Edinboro mid-year, so we had to use her last year. The way the team was, we had to use her at the 4. She played point guard at Edinboro, so we had to use her at the 4 last year. But another one, gave you everything you had. Ended up getting an injury because she played so hard last year, trying to bang with the post players. So really proud of her. All the players, even the ones that are returning. You know, everyone got better. I don't think there's anyone on the team that didn't get better, and they all, you know, bought in. And that's when you're a coach. That's kind of all you can do, is just try to get them to buy in into what you're saying and to trust you. And you know, like I told them, like I'd do anything for them. You know, if they ever need me for anything, you know, I'm there. And you know, I'm a firm believer in like reciprocal loyalty. Like they're loyal to me, like right or wrong, I'm gonna have their back. Now there's sometimes I may tell them, I got some technicals, like, hey, relax, and then I'm gonna tell the ref, what'd she do? I mean, that's how I am. So, you know, for the rest of their lives, you know, I'm in their corner. So, you know, happy with the team. Sad that it ended this way, but you know, that doesn't change the journey for us.
There's one more thing, and I'll let you go.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about 3 years ago you get hired interim coach? What can you say about your journey 3 years in?
Yeah, well, the wildest thing about that is I got hired like 2 weeks into school, so I did, like, they were already working out with the team, and I had just got there, so I had to learn their names in practice. Like we were doing workouts, practices. They didn't know me, I didn't know them, and it's just been, you know, kind of a whirlwind for that to be your first head coaching job. You know, I liked it because it kind of threw me to the fire. Like the way I was raised, you know, you better be able to take the heat, and you know, I think that kind of molded me into the type of coach that I want to be, because I didn't have time to kind of adjust. Like, this is what I want to do. This is how we're going to do it. And like, it's funny. I was just talking to Elena Cardona today. She was on that first team. She was a senior, and she just was just like, she loves this team. Like, and I think that's kind of what everyone who graduates, Ramina too. Ramina's always watching the games. They love the passion that these kids play with, how hard they play. And I saw that first year, like, we didn't have the most talent in the league, but we played hard, and we were 18-10. But I kind of saw something where, like, if I can just get kids that play hard and I can develop them, like, we can win a lot of games. So she'll tell you about 80% of what I preach is intensity and playing hard. Because once we get that down, now we can go scheme. Now we can go X's and O's. I think that in this run right here, I think that's what separated us is we were more physical and we just wanted it more. Um, and it don't always work out, and that's what I told them too. That's life. That don't mean that you're working hard and doing everything full go, that it's wrong. That's just life. Sometimes you got to pivot and you go another direction. But yeah, I think each year I've kind of learned more about myself and the type of player. And I know last year, day one of the portal, I was on her line because I actually Wheeling opened, and I was looking at their roster. This was way before I got IUP, and I watched some tape. I was like, that girl's pretty good. Like, if I had her, she'd be pretty good. Then she got in the portal. I said, oh man, I said, I got to get on her. So it ended up working out, and she had the best year of her career, and she really set herself up to do great things. When she's done here, to go do great things. She'll have a lot of options, and that's kind of what I try to teach to her and players of her caliber in the portal. Like, you're going to get a degree and you're going to have options, and when you leave a school, that's all you can ask for is I can pick what I want to do with my life. I don't get into one lane, like I have options. And for me, that's what I like seeing most. The wins are great. Obviously I like winning. Very passionate about that, but I like to see them go and do big things outside of school. Romina, her team won the championship in Ireland. Super pumped for her. T's a nurse now. Like, everyone who's graduated from here has been really successful, and I think the way I coach kind of prepares them for that, because it's not all like handshakes and high fives. Like, sometimes it's tough love, but that's how the real world is. If you just show up late to work, you're probably gonna get fired. So that's what I try to teach them. Like, I'm here to turn you into an adult and a really good player, and you can do both at the same time. And not every program's like that. Not that I'm right and they're wrong, but that's just what I believe in, and I feel like that's molded me into how I am. And I'm only gonna be myself with them. And I think the number one thing in our program for me is, like, I am me. I'm never gonna be fake with them. I'm gonna be real, and those who appreciate the realness, just catapult themselves into success.